Hi, I'm Mayor Rob Putaansuu from the City of Port Orchard, and I'm here at the BCAT Studios with Robin O'Grady, Executive Director of West Sound Treatment Centers. So Robin, what can you tell me about the history of West Sound Treatment Centers?
Well, first of all, thanks so much, Rob, for your time and your interest in our work. We have actually been in the community. This is our 34th year serving our community, and we actually started in the basement of the coroner's office in Kitsap County, and at that time our clients remarked that it smelled like formaldehyde, and thank God they were downstairs in group rather than upstairs. And since that time we have evolved considerably. When I took the helm in 2006, we were a small outpatient treatment clinic, and we had a house that had been gifted to us through the Community Trade and Economic Development. And we leased that house to Oxford Houses of Washington for women and women with children. And what happened was, as we got closer to the economic downturn, we had clients in our lobby that had been losing their jobs and their homes, had nowhere to go, and were literally standing there with their hefty bags and nowhere to go. And it was clear that there were not enough housing opportunities for people that had multiple barriers. And so the folks that we serve are not just the folks that have substance use disorders, but they also suffer from mental health disorders, domestic violence histories, sexual assault histories. Many of them are, reunifying with their families via child protective services, and so they have a host of barriers related to substance use disorders that need to be addressed in order for them to find wellness and quality of life. So in 2009, we actually were able to apply for a Boeing grant, and we received a startup grant for our Ohana House program. And Ohana House means family and no one gets left behind. So that's the premise behind our Ohana House. Our Ohana House houses 8 women and 5 children. And what we do there is we provide a supportive housing model. So we have on-site case management Monday through Friday, and the gals that live in Ohana House actually attend treatment out in the community, whether it be with us at West Sound Treatment Center or at another community treatment clinic. And our case management services include helping them navigate some of the systems that are harder for them to navigate on their own. For instance, DSHS, the CPS process, and we have CPS visitation in Ohana House with our moms, and also navigating systems like FAFSA applications to go back to school and things like that. So Ohana House has been at full capacity since 2009 when we opened. Next came our Lighthouse program, which is our men's program in South Kitsap, and actually through a partnership with Port Orchard Church of Christ, we have been gifted the use of a house called Heritage House. So our name is Heritage Lighthouse, and we have 8 beds there for chronically homeless men with substance use disorders. And the model is similar to Ohana House in that it's both our permanent housing programs and have that supportive case management model. So both of those houses also have access to our Compass program, which is individualized vocational assessment and training. And so many of our folks have spotty employment histories, felony records, and have difficulty not just finding employment, but actually retaining employment. And so our Compass program comes in and gives them vocational assessment individual to them, and actually kind of slows down the process of vocational rehabilitation. We have skill building workshops, and then the one-on-one vocational case management, which has been really helpful to many of our folks. We've had people move on to Boeing and other high-level employers, and it's been a great partnership between Compass and our housing programs. In 2010, we were so fortunate to receive a very generous Washington Families Fund grant, and that grant is a combination of public and private funding, one of which is Bill and Melinda Gates, and the other is Seattle Foundation, and some other funders got together to provide us with a 5-year, $400,000 grant for permanent housing based on the Housing First model. And the Housing First model is actually a national best practice. And the premise behind it is that it's very difficult to overcome challenges and barriers when you have no place to lay your head at night. And so what we were able to do in partnership with the Bremerton Housing Authority and a local landlord, Jim Adrian, was to secure 14 individual units for high need level families at scattered sites across Bremerton. And then what we were able to do is so our families have permanent housing, and then we were able to come in with supportive services and case management. So we have housing case managers that actually go on site to the units to provide those families with support, resources, and access to community resources. They serve as connectors, really connecting our families with the funding sources they need and helping them really overcome those barriers and get back into society. So that program has been hugely successful, and this last year, most currently, we've actually been contracted to open a clinic inside the Kitsap County Jail. So we are providing treatment inside the Kitsap County Jail using a model called MRT, which is moral recognition therapy. And MRT is really based on creating internal motivation for change rather than that external motivation for change. And so at any given time, we have 12 folks in the Kitsap County Jail attending outpatient treatment there on site. And what we found is that treatment inside the jail has been hugely successful. However, once they're released into the community, they tend to go back to what they came from. They have, and around 80% or higher actually exit incarceration back into homelessness. So what was happening was our folks would participate in treatment and then they would slip through the cracks and be gone. Kitsap County was concerned about this as well, and so we were able to open now our New Start housing programs. So clients are actually released to us upon their discharge from the jail, and they come into our New Start housing program. We have one house for men, one house for women, and again we have that supportive case management model, so they're not just left to their own devices. We have staff to help them navigate those systems and get them back on their feet, and along with that they're able to attend our Compass vocational program and gain those vocational skills that they need to go out and be successful in the workplace. Compass actually serves all of our programs, and then we also started getting phone calls from community partner agencies who wanted Compass in their facilities. So over the last couple of years we have provided services inside the Benedict House, the YWCA Alive Shelter, Salvation Army, at one time George's House, and currently we're providing Compass Vocational Services in the Kitsap Regional Libraries, ShareNet Food Bank in Kingston, the YWCA Alive Shelter, Olala Guest Lodge, and then all of our West Sound Treatment Center programs. So Compass has been an invaluable program to our folks. One of the biggest causes of relapse is low self-worth, not feeling like our folks can sufficiently provide for their families. So this has been a detrimental piece to what it is we're doing with our folks. It's been really good.
Well, Robin, it sounds like you're doing a lot in the community, but it sounds like you're doing much more than just substance abuse.
That's true, we are. Yeah, and so we have actually, our growth since 2007 is 300%, and really what we've strategically been focused on is filling the gaps in the community, especially for those that we serve, because they're all similar. They're similar gaps. We've worked really closely with Kitsap Mental Health and their programs, and the other housing programs and treatment programs in the community. I think that's one of the things we've been able to do best is have an inclusive approach to services, and we do that for a couple reasons. First of all, to not duplicate services. We want to make sure that we're not, doing the same thing that other places are doing. But we've also really been focused on innovative services and best practices. In this last year, the New Start program in the Kitsap County Jail received the Kitsap County Continuum of Care Coalition Innovation Award. So we were really proud to get that off the ground and to know that it's really making a critical impact in the community.
Wow. You threw that statistic out there, and I have it here too, that You've grown by 300% since 2007 and 40% in this last year.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit more about that growth and what that means to your organization?
Sure, you bet. So last year we implemented, we were able to get the New Start program up and off the ground and running effectively in the jail. We were also at the same time opening our Pulsebo clinic. And so for a long time, the North Kitsap had very limited services in terms of providing substance use disorder treatment for low-income folks. There are a couple places out there. The Suquamish Wellness Center is one of them. However, what we found is that wait lists were long and access to services were difficult. And so there was a program in Pulsebo for many years called New Beginnings, and they prepared to shut their doors. And what we were able to do was step in and talk to many of their clients and introduce them to what we're doing and actually step into that space and open services there. That program had been there for over 13 years. So now we're located in that same space, and the benefit for the North Kitsap area is that we opened up services for folks that have Obamacare medical coupons. And so now folks that were unable to access services that were low income or even no income are able to come in now and get substance use disorder treatment services. And the folks on the North End are also have access to all of our other programs in Kitsap County. So that's been a huge, we've had a huge impact on the North End as well. So,
well, I mean, obviously, this tremendous growth you're providing tremendous reward and service to our community and benefit to our community. What are the challenges that presents to your organization?
And we've had some challenges indeed. So one of the biggest challenges that we've had, there's been a few, but the one that is most pressing is that while our services have grown, the need for our services continue to grow, our infrastructure has remained the same. And so what we have is I have an amazing board of directors, 10 really dedicated, intelligent business people on our board with different skill sets, and they've been able to kind of step in and take over the infrastructure piece and help to begin to really get that developed so that we can continue moving forward. So that's just been amazing and wonderful. Another thing that happened is in April, in fact, April 17th, for those that don't know, Cascade Recovery Services in Silverdale, which was one of the bigger treatment centers in Kitsap County, shut their doors for good. And at the same time, Department of Corrections had an outpatient treatment center in Bremerton that also shut their doors. So now there's about 320 folks floating around trying to access substance use disorder treatment. So it was a coincidence that, Pulsebo was available for them, and now so a majority of them have gone to North Kitsap because it's the closest to Silverdale, and we've had many admissions into the Port Orchard branch as well, and I know some of the other treatment centers have had increased census as a result. So that's been one of our biggest challenges is scaling staff to meet the need, because as the need has increased, obviously local government and private dollars have continued to decrease. So this has been a big challenge for us. This year we have implemented our Build a Bridge campaign, which we're really excited about. And so between now and December 31st of 2016, we are building a bridge to move forward. And so I'm out in the community shaking trees and making connections, letting people know what we're doing and who we are and what it is that we need. So we look forward to, continued growth and sustainability in that way.
So following up on that funding need, so where does your funding come from?
Our funding, we have a really diverse funding base. We have private funds and donations, foundation grants, and then a good portion of our grants come from local government grants. And so, for example, the HHGP, the Homeless Housing Grant Program, the AHGP, the Affordable Housing Grant Program. We've had support from Boeing, Medina. We have a very aggressive fund development plan, and so that's my lot in life. I spend a lot of time writing grants and really developing our funding base for West Sound.
Wonderful. So can you talk about some of the innovative service delivery models and partnerships you have?
Sure. So we talked a little bit about the MRT, the moral recognition therapy, and then also the housing first model. And I know this, I'm probably singing to the choir here, but Kitsap County has a huge housing crisis, not just for folks with multiple barriers, but in a general way. And so the housing first model has become really, there's a group of folks, Housing First Task Force, and there are several, community heads that are attending that meeting now, including us. And what we're looking toward is really developing more housing opportunities for low-income folks, using that Housing First model. But also, I know that there are other agencies in the community really trying to, Bremerton Housing Authority being one, Housing Kitsap being another, who are looking to help with the challenges around housing now in our county.
So what are your plans for future sustainability?
Good question. So we have a multi-fold plan, which includes continued cost reduction. We are looking at everything that we're doing, modifying our systems and really looking at ways to conserve, do more with less. And I think that's, we're not the Lone Ranger in that. I think the other nonprofits in the community are really kind of in the same position in that they're looking at ways to continue reducing cost of operations. So that's one of the big things that we're doing. And then at the same time, we're continuing to develop our funding base. And last year we had our very first annual fundraising dinner. You were there.
Yes,
Thank
I
you
was.
for that. And it was so much fun. It was a great event. And
Fabulous event.
yeah, and so we look forward to doing more of that. Our board of directors, that was a board-initiated fundraiser dinner, and so, board fundraising, and then just continuing to increase our opportunities through grant research and development, private and foundation grants.
So obviously you're providing a tremendous service in the community. How can someone get involved with West Sound Treatment?
There are many ways you can get involved if you want to help West Sound in our programs. You can become a volunteer, and we have many volunteer positions available depending on what your skill set is. The best way to get involved as a volunteer is to email me at robin.o'grady@wstcs.org. And Evans Callis and I, he's our interim CEO, will have a conversation and do an informational tour and show you what it is exactly that we're doing. Another great way to get involved is to come and tour and be a part of the informational sessions. We do those quarterly, and so if you have interest in our programs and want to take a look and see what they look like, you're welcome to come and spend a half a day with me, and we'll do the tour, and you can kind of really get a bird's eye view of what the programs entail.
So Robin, where can someone get more information about West Sound Treatment?
That's a great question, Rob. So you can go to our website at westsoundtreatmentcenter.org, and on our page you'll find tons of information about us, our staff, our work, our different programs, and also about our Build a Bridge campaign. Or you can email me at robin.o'grady@wstcs.org, and I would love to set up an informational session for you and spend some time touring our programs and taking a look at what it is we're doing.
Wow, ton of information there. Feel free to go to the website that's on your screen. Thank you, Robin, for spending this time here for me today, and thank you to the audience for joining us here today.